What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jack Ramsays pregame. Good God, I almost said postgame there. I'm a little sideways. Danny Morank, Brandon Sprague, Portland Trailblazers getting ready to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I was doing just a little pregame looky-loo. And Brandon, Portland Trailblazers have lost 15 of their last 19 games. Only the Detroit Pistons and Orlando Magic have lost more games since then.
Happy Friday. I hope everybody's having a great day. Danny, the douchebag, showed up on the podcast to remind us how bad this team has been. You know what's funny, though, is we just did the live show.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I wanted to look at, I was just like, I brought the team stuff up. I know I knew this, but does it blow anybody else's mind that this is quite literally the worst road team in the NBA? They have the fewest road wins. X amount of game, whatever we're at this point, because I've forgotten where the record is. Like, we are that far into the year, and they have the worst road record. Worse than Orlando, worse than Detroit,
Let me go ahead and update it.
Worse than Oklahoma City.
On the season, 2 road wins.
Nobody else has 2. Everybody else has 3 or more.
So, yeah. And by the way, they have 26 road games remaining.
Well, you know,
the front half of the schedule, I remember everybody's like, oh, this is the hard part of the schedule. This is the hard part. And I was like,
well,
are you sure about that?
Look, a lot of us, I'm going to throw myself in here. A lot of bad opinions about what this team was preseason. I know you like to laugh. I get it. But let's remember this podcast picked anywhere from 45 to
sure,
wins.
For all of the normal reasons of sanity.
I know, but we way undervalued the notion that these dudes thought and knew they should have been broken up, and Neil was like, nope. And they were like, shit, we got to play together again and lose? Like, I don't want to do that. I way undervalued that.
It's a weird place to be. Speaking of weird place to be, we appreciate all of you being here with us for the pregame show and the postgame show, and listening on the podcast. So if you haven't already, please help us grow the show. If you're new here, we appreciate you. If you're not, we appreciate you too. Like, rate, review, subscribe. Help us grow the show. Share us with your friends. I know holiday get-togethers are mostly out of the way now, so you don't have to get together and talk about things you don't want to, like politics and the Portland Trailblazers.
I think I'd rather talk about politics.
You start talking about, what about trading CJ? Because I want to talk about the vaccines. You know,
climate change.
Yeah,
let's go. It's like, oh no.
You're just like, you know what? I think you got a good point there, Uncle Bob. Let's put the Blazers talk on the side, but that's not what we do here. We put the Blazers talk on the front burner. Yeah. And Joey says, I had 52 wins. I remember that, Joey. I remember that because that was insane. That was bonkers.
I'll give you the wildest one, and I'll give her credit. Like, she's kind of like leaned in and owned it. Ashton, I always say her last name.
Oh, Batuso, yeah.
Batuso, who helps run the Flagrant Mag. Yeah. They do a great job. I had her on as one of the media pickers.
Did she say like 55?
She said 53 and the 7 seed. I was like, how good is the West going to be?
The West was just going to be nuts.
Man.
But yeah, it's a weird place to be right now. Until they make the decision official and until somebody gets traded, it's going to have a Groundhog Day feeling. Like, it's just like, oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Because here's the things. We're taking a look at, and honestly, we're probably going to look at more at opponents. Like tonight, we're going to watch the Cavs. I'm very excited to watch Evan Mobley. Very excited.
Darius Garland's playing too, right?
Everybody is playing except for Sexton, Rubio, and Okoro.
Who have, I think 2 of those 3 have season-ending injuries.
Yes, yeah. Sexton and Rubio are done.
Yeah.
They both, I think they actually both have torn ACLs.
Yes.
But Okoro picked up a elbow sprain. I was going to have Justin Rowan, who does the chase down pod for the Cavs, hop on, but he's recovering from the booster shot. So shout out to him, and hopefully he's feeling better. But we did talk a little bit just kind of like about this Cavs team, and in the kind of the prelude, the write up for this, the thing that I kept looking at was like, man, the Cavs are kind of in the place that the Blazers have been for the last couple of years. 4th in the conference. Doing some things, some younger guys or some different guys showing a little bit extra. The problem is like Portland always had this little gap of like, oh, they can get a little bit more here. They can get a little bit more here. Darius Garland's just scratching the surface. Evan Mobley is just scratching the surface. Jarrett Allen is finally kind of rounding into form. they've got some room to grow. Now, here's the tricky part of everything is how much. How much room to grow?
I think the roof is the ceiling, my brother.
Mm.
I really look at this team. I've watched them play more than I thought I would. Like Justin kind of turned me on to them. I was interested about Mobley and Allen and how that would look. But I've watched more games at Cleveland this year than I thought
Garland's
I would
fun.
already. Garland is really fun. Evan Mobley, I could watch that dude play every single night.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think they might be a couple pieces away, or a move or two is what I should say, from being right there. Like they're already the 4th seed. They're already showing that they got a pretty stout defense with
They
Mobley.
need a dude. They need a bucket getter. They need a dude.
But they're fortunate because they've got assets that they can move. A Collin Sexton asset when he's healthy is going to be wanted by some teams out there.
Kevin Love is a viable trade piece all of a sudden, as crazy as that is.
And I know he does a good job off the bench for them, but like, I really think they could be a trade away. And you mentioned Portland. As you were saying that stuff, it kind of just hit me again. This iteration of the Blazers has watched the Cleveland Cavaliers win a championship,
run a full cycle,
lose LeBron James, and then run a full cycle by having to rebuild through the draft. And they were bad just 2 years ago, like bad. And to see that like cycle happen while Portland's basically done nothing
the same
but
thing.
this, it kind of ticks you off when you think about it.
Yes. And this is kind of like the frustration. Eric says, I'm looking forward to watching Mobley tonight. He was underwhelming last time we played them. I think his box score wasn't great, but his impact, it was just like guys around him were also. I remember they had a ton of injuries that matchup too. So I'm definitely interested to see how that kind of goes tonight. For Portland does get another guy back. Cody Zeller is cleared health and safety protocols, and his knee is magically healed. We never got the knee update.
Well, we at least got the Larry Nance knee update.
Yeah, we got the update that it wasn't. He avoided a severe injury.
It's inflammation, is what they described it as.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, in other words, he heard it, but he didn't hurt it real good.
Right.
That's kind of what we got for in tonight's game, or in that kind of matchup. When you're looking at this team, it's not a secret, Brandon. There's two things that we are watching right now. We are watching Anthony Simons, and we are watching Nasir Little. There's just I don't think there's anything else really worth locking in on. Do you?
No, I mean,
you'll take a fun Norm night. You'll take a fun Larry night. But
like I was gonna say, like Watford's had a couple moments, where you've been like, he's kind of a player, know, but. And I enjoy that stuff, but largely, yeah, you're 100%. It's Ant and it's Nas Watch, and it's root like hell for those dudes to go out there and keep getting buckets and keep trying to play good games because, they're playing for money, first of all, and second of all, it's an opportunity for young players to shine because now the two main dudes have been out.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where it's like, again, I think it's kind of the what I call it, Groundhog Day situation. Speaking of Groundhog Day. My wife is out of the house, so therefore
that's okay.
Puppy Patrol is here. Come
Paw Patrol over here. Here we go.
Here. Come on.
We were gonna get Justin on for the podcast, but then we turns out that we canceled Justin. We're gonna get Dallas up here, and we're gonna get her on the podcast because she's down there and she's watching Danny give all these great hot takes, and she's like, I want to give some takes too. So I can't blame her.
She just wants to come up here and hang out because she's a COVID puppy, so she's always got somebody around.
Yeah.
And when mom leaves and dad's in the office, she's not very happy about it. Are you?
And she has seen you pick her up while that ring light is on. So now when that ring light turns on, it's almost like it's lap time.
It's like a dog whistle, legitimately.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
One thing, I think this is gonna be kind of a shorter pregame show, just because I don't want to sit here and belabor the same points over and over again. But one of the things that I've been really kind of hammering as it pertains to Anthony is that the path is cleared, and not necessarily with guys not, being healthy, but he's very clearly the number one. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. The only kind of pushback that comes with that is when Nurk's like, it's my turn now,
Mm-hmm.
Which I find to be mildly frustrating.
He had it the other night, though.
Yeah.
Against Atlanta.
Oh, sorry, my wife is now calling me and texting me.
Yeah, take a break. Take a quick break.
It's
might be important.
No, she's asking me if I really want her to grab some food. She says there's 15 cars in line to the spot that we wanted to go, and I said no worry about it, because apparently I'm not doing anything right now. She definitely doesn't know that I do this before every game, and it's just like,
hey, it's life, man. We roll with it.
It is life. But as I was saying, as it pertains to Anthony, I think the path has been cleared for him in the sense of there's no impediments. There's no, well, this, that, or the other. You got to figure this out. It is very clearly go get buckets.
Yes, which is great.
And I think that's a good headspace for him to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Nas is going to get more opportunities. He's certainly elevated up the pecking order significantly. But I think you and I, we've talked about this quite a bit over the last month. The idea of being able to make mistakes and play through them. We've seen Nas have some good games. We've seen him have some less than stellar games. We've seen him have a lot of impact while having a good box score night. We've seen him have a lot of an impact with a smaller box score night. But I think the one thing that we have found, even on the nights when he doesn't have the box score impact, that he is bringing the juice. And the biggest thing for him, I think, is knowing when and where to impact as a scorer. And I think that's the thing that I'm honing in more on with Nas, because we know on ball he'll bring it defensively. We know he'll bring the energy. It's just, I think it's just very cool to kind of watch that development process take place.
Well, I think there's a part of me that, like, I think Ant understands everything you're saying. Like, Ant knows this is my time. I don't have a Dame CJ situation where I'm probably kind of bowing down to them versus trying to get an open shot and do what I can in these moments. He knows that when he's out there, the green light is his. Like, there's nothing to play for. This team is kind of packed it in. Go steal a couple games and go get yourself a big contract. I think Ant knows that. I think for Nas, what's interesting is we've seen the good games. We've seen the mediocre to maybe even bad to a certain extent. The one thing I really would like to see, I'd love to see somebody either in his ear or maybe he just kind of the light bulb clicks. Because again, you got to remember Ant, he was where Ant was last year at this point. I'd like to see him shoot. Like, go out there and go shoot 17 times. Like, those shots are there. Like, that, those shots are,
especially this season. That's what we keep talking about. Like,
yes,
when guys aren't there, this is your time to make those mistakes, to show what you've got, to kind of figure it all out.
If you shoot 31%, 32% from three, I'm not going to be there at the end of the year and be like, well, because we didn't peg him as a 3-ball shooter, but he experimented with it and he tries it. If he shoots above 35, you're going to be like, wow, this is kind of maybe turning into something. And the same way with getting his own buckets, like, he's had some moments where he gets, off the dribble and gets his own kind of look, either a jumper or to the cup. I'd like to see more trying those. You know what I mean? Like,
this is the experimentation time.
Yeah, and I want to see him really kind of push the case a little bit and say, no, I'll share. I'll do what I can. I'm also going to get my shots because these young guys need that. That's what we're after right now. And so I think they've both done good jobs in different ways. But I think Nas is, maybe he'll realize at some point coming up soon that, just take those shots. It's
not even just the shots. It's the shot selection. It's okay to fail, like, situation.
Yes.
And for Nas, it's such a contrary thing because they screwed up how to use him in North Carolina. They had a lot of dudes at North Carolina. They kind of made him a stand in the corner 4 who didn't really get to do much or show much. Kobe was on the ball more. Cam Johnson was a 5th-year senior, a grad guy, and so they trusted him maybe a little bit more. And now we're seeing Cam ball the hell out in the NBA, so kind of, it tracks as far as the development curve. But also, Nas is just now getting to be a year and a half younger than Cam was in college.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're kind of he's kind of had to wait his turn, and so I don't know if he's fully ready yet to be like, I can has this, like, you know what I mean, like that light going on, like, it's okay for me to make this mistake, like, I don't have to worry. And I think that's kind of a pretty serious dynamic change, as it is for Ant being like full on green lit. Like, hey, no, this is all you, man. This is okay. Joey asks, do you think Dame will go on the road trip? That is the $1 million question. That is the $1 million question, because if he doesn't go on the road trip, it is done. Done.
Yeah, because that's six games?
6 games. He's shutting it down.
I mean,
if he doesn't go on that trip, he's shutting it down 100%.
And there's no indication one way or the other right now, right?
No. I mean, there is, but...
You mean by guaranteeing Dennis Smith Jr.'s contract rest?
I'm just going to say
we need more point guards.
There has been an indication that
Yes.
a non-guaranteed player, for those that didn't know, Dennis Smith Jr.'s contract was picked up today. He is guaranteed for the entire season.
Yeah.
Which coincidentally enough would factor in quite simply in Portland having a point guard for the rest of the season that knows the system. Somebody asked about Nurk. Nurk did not get suspended, so I do owe Brandon a beer.
Yes.
Yes. Quick also thought Nurk. Quick and Richmond both
I heard
thought
it.
Nurk would
They
get
both.
suspended. We were
my only
we were all
pushback-
in the same. We were all in the same boat of it was the hand raise. Like, even though it wasn't closed fist, anytime that hand comes up, they're just like, nope, we're not going to deal with that. We're not going to have it. It's whatever.
I think because it was guys who aren't real offenders mixed with no clean contact and kind of like a short dust up. I think the NBA was just like, we don't need to bother. Just find them a small amount to them.
Yeah, I was just saying,
and
$25,000.
God, I could use $25,000 right now.
Right?
But pick
Even
me
after
as the
taxes.
charity. Pick me as the charity.
Yeah. The Danny Meringue Jax Ramsays Foundation. We will gladly take that. I will slide Brandon a little piece.
The Brandon Sprague Human Fund could really use something.
Speaking of some funds, have you looked at the lines tonight?
You know, I haven't. I forgot to bring that up. Where are we at right now? Are we talking Cleveland -4? We talking about Portland -2?
Blazers +6.
Oh.
Hey.
Listen to your dog. Your dog's like, holy.
She's like, what is that line?
Is it really Cleveland minus or
Yeah.
wait, Portland +6?
Portland +6, Cleveland -6.
Oh, if I told you that, you would never have believed me.
No.
January 7th, the Cavs.
In a million years. I would have been like, well, is Dame out? Is CJ out? And you'd be like, yeah.
Yes.
But even then,
yes.
it's like 6?
And I'm going to have to take the Cavs because they've been playing without Sexton for a minute. They're used to that. Rubio is a loss, but I
Rondo's
think,
supposed to play tonight.
Rondo's going to make his debut for
so
them
they'll have
tonight.
a functional point guard.
Yeah, I mean, he'll do what he's supposed to do in 12, 13 minutes. Like the rest of the pieces that are there, Garland, Allen, Mobley, those are the 3 best players anyway. So Portland's screwed.
Here's the interesting thing. The over-under tonight. What do you think is that?
217.
215.
Yeah.
Like,
Cleveland's a good defensive team.
I know that they don't score, but Portland doesn't stop anybody. And here's the interesting thing. It opened at 216.5. It's been bet down.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I know Cleveland doesn't really score and they play good defense, but Portland's defense is really... So I took the over.
I mean, you got to ride it.
I've been smacked. I have made almost $700 on the over this year.
We have talked about this, and the Miami game was the last one where we were like, I think the over-under was 16 or 17.
It was 216.
And we were both like, that's low. And we bet the over, and then
They
we're
cleared
on the
it
watch
easily.
party, and we were like, at 7 minutes, we're like, I don't know. And then boom, boom, boom,
and then
boom,
bucket,
boom.
bucket, and we're like, yeah, we're fine.
Yes.
But yeah, the overs, even on small $10, $15 bets this year, I've made almost $700. So I may have to go big on the next time they give me one of these like 211 numbers, 212. The next time they give me one of those, I might have to throw a fat piece on that one.
Yeah.
What are you looking for in this game more than anything?
I am looking for Nas's aggression. I mentioned that, but that's like legitimately something I've been thinking about the last 2 days. I'm really curious to watch Nurkic in this matchup
Against J.A. and Mobley.
Yeah, 2 tall, lengthy defenders who also kind of play differently. And so, like, I just kind of want to see how he fares, I guess, against those 2 guys. And obviously, I'd like to see Ant have a good game. Though that's really it. It's not they blew a 10-point lead tonight. It's not they got blown
Not
out.
closing out the game I don't care about. I genuinely don't.
None of the results-based stuff I give two rips about. If they blow a 20-point lead tonight, it is what it is. Yeah. If they get blown out by 20, it is what it is. But I'm looking for those three specific things tonight.
My whole point of view right now is shifted to I want to see Ant get upwards of 18.5 shots a night.
I like that.
I want to see Nas get 12.5. I want them to push the pace. I want Ant to take on challenges, getting downhill, not necessarily settling for threes, but because he's just been, I think he's hit 15 threes in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Something bonkers. I just want to see him do the things that we know there's certain things he can do. I want to see the expansion. I want to see him drag out a pick and roll and find guys on the cut, on the move. I want to see him get in. One thing we have seen from him recently is some pretty ecstatic finishing around the paint. He had the one against Miami where it looked like he got almost behind the backboard and went high off the glass, a little bit of English, and it was like, oh, okay. Those are the kind of things. And Eduardo kind of says the Ant third quarter takeover. I want to see that, but more than that, I want to see his impact throughout 4 quarters. He's a little bit Dame-esque where he just kind of feels his way in there. And Dame has been a guy who was a third quarter guy than fourth quarter guy who took over. More of a second half player, kind of try to get other guys involved, which I'm not against. I want to see the impact felt throughout the game. That's kind of the thing that I'm looking forward to the most. Beach fan says, Danny, do you still believe Rocco will be packing his bag within the next week or so? Yes, I do. I've heard more and more discussion around Portland in the last probably 48 hours. And not just in Portland, the NBA. Things are gearing up. I would imagine coming out of the weekend, we probably have something, not necessarily Portland, but I would imagine that a trade comes out of this weekend. Ears is a big CJ Ellaby fan and says he wants to see CJ Ellaby big minutes and 20 points.
Hey, there you go.
It is kind of interesting that Tony Snell is just no longer part of the lineup. Not in the rotation at all. Ellaby snuck in for 3 minutes. I mean, Snell, like the idea.
What is that?
I mean, it's the idea of Tony Snell. He's just not good.
I mean, he can't really do anything but stand in a corner and shoot.
No, I mean he's got okay size, but he doesn't have like real quickness or real explosiveness to be able to. Maybe they play him tonight just because Cleveland is so big, but
thanks to him, we've got the Snell stat. Whoever
trillion?
plays, 20 minutes and gets literally no stats registered, which Danny Green had, but they just retroactively gave him a steal, which was bull crap. But, what was I just goes, you mentioned something. Damn it.
Ant, Ellaby, Nas.
So you mentioned the trade stuff. Anything new? Is it basically the same kind of stuff? Bagley potentially
same kind of stuff. I haven't heard any new names. So,
and then did you catch the beginning of Windhorse's podcast?
Yes, I did. I think I am in the rare group of NBA dude who does this inside and out on a daily basis and kind of grinds it. I love trade season. I love the idea. Like I have a very RPG centered brain. Where I love the idea of what about this? What about this? What about this? And trying to build something just like a mental picture. I think people look at that, even the fake trade stuff, it's not going to happen, so I don't care. And I'm like, did you dream about anything as a kid? Did you ever try or think about something different? Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just a little bit different in the sense of my career path when I worked in military intelligence was to try scenarios. To come up with scenarios.
I don't see, here's my thing. You may have misinterpreted, at least to me. I don't think he's talking about the idea of talking about trades. I think he's literally talking about being on the phone and texting these general managers, coaches, etc., and listening to all the bullshit.
Even then,
we're going to go for this. I know. I was thinking about it today because I love it too. But I'm not reaching out to anybody. I'm not trying to make an effort to be one of those news break guys, right? You do it because you love it and you want to be informed on a lot of this stuff. I'm just flat out lazy. But I think
you had a little sprinkling of it today.
Oh my God. Bro, let's not expose situations.
No, but it's still fun.
I was like, get me the fuck out of here right now. I was like, I'm done. I don't want this life. Man, you can't. If you say anything,
I told you. I told you.
Anyways, but I think Brian is one of many like reporters at that level where it's not to suggest you don't have interaction, but Brian Windhorst is probably being tweeted to.
Oh God.
So many times in a day about trade.
Listen,
You know what I mean?
Hyken has this on lock. He's got quality filters on, so unless he follows you, it doesn't give him any notifications. I don't think it comes through. And I would imagine anybody who has a following over like 20,000 does that.
Ben did this. Ben admittedly said that he like straight up deleted his mentions columns. He never knew who tweeted to him. He never knew who DM'd him. I don't know how long that went on, but I think he just recently turned it back on. But he told us, he's like, I turned my mentions off. I'm like, you never seen anything? He's like, no, man, it turns into a cesspool.
Yeah. No. Ben still manually retweets stuff.
He still does the RT.
Yeah.
I miss it.
That's just Ben being the homie. That's what that is. But we'll get out of here on that, guys. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you all very much. When I do get any kind of real information over the next couple weeks in the live shows and stuff like that, we'll get more into the trade stuff. If we do get a trade that breaks during the day, I will do my best to effort a live show that day, whether it's a pregame show or not, where we kind of dedicate some time to that.
And a guest, hopefully, maybe somebody from the market that covers the team that can say, hey, who is this? Or, like, what are they going to bring?
I am also working on another piece right now. Literally right now. I've got a spreadsheet open of kind of like what to expect, like what players Portland is actively targeting, not necessarily the trades, but like what players they're targeting and what teams are targeting Portland players. Just to kind of give an idea of where things kind of sit right now, as far as I know. And then we will be able to kind of reconcile some of that stuff, and you'll be able to get a kind of a better understanding of how things are sitting right now. But if you haven't already, please like, rate, review, subscribe, help us grow the show. If you want to do us a solid, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Obviously, Spotify doesn't have it yet, so on Apple it is great. We appreciate it. If you are new to the show here, I saw Quentin Porter and Christopher Treese both became members for the Jack Ramsays. We will have the watch party. Brandon will be maybe in there for a little bit, but he's got some other stuff to take care of tonight. It'll just be a fun kind of chill session tonight. I am unfortunately still kind of getting my ass kicked, as you can tell by my voice right now. But if you are a member, I'll post the link here. What time is it right now? 6:09, so I'll probably post it about 6:45 or so. I'll see you guys in there. Help us grow the channel here. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like, rate, review, do all the things. You can find us on social media at Jack Ramsays, at Danny Morank, at Brandon Sprague. We'll catch you guys in the watch party and then for the postgame show.